that early age of like social media was like a feral wasteland. Like there was no
Yeah.
rules.
Yeah, the internet went wild. They just tearing her apart to the point where I took down the video.
Losing hair by the chunks it was breaking. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't do this.
You gotta be equal parts delusional and equal parts, motivated.
I don't even think I've really fully conceptualized how big it is. My neighbors are so over my shit.
Should you wear the shirt of the band you're going to see? Also, hot take, I don't really like the Black Parade or Well, thanks for jumping on, Jessica Conrad. I appreciate you coming on the show. One of my favorite content creators on TikTok, Instagram, and beyond. Maybe Threads soon. You on Threads yet?
I am. I'm still trying to figure out how that whole thing works, and it's been interesting to navigate, but...
Yeah, I think everyone's kind of there on Threads. Like, everyone's, like, posting, like, I don't know what's going to do well. Like, hoping for the best.
Yeah, it's basically Twitter 2.0, so...
Yeah, and like nothing, like even like the big accounts that post stuff on there don't seem to really get any traction yet.
No.
But what kind of t-shirt are you rocking today?
I have an Attack shirt.
Okay, nice.
They sent it out to me, and I'm really excited to wear that one. It's very comfy. I love me some oversized shirts, so I don't know about you, but I'm all about the comfies, so...
Yeah. See, I go back and forth on that all the time between like wearing oversized t-shirts and then more fitted shirts. I can never decide like what my vibe is, because I like the oversized look, but also I work out a lot, so I wanted to like show,
Yeah, it's kind of a tough balance for sure.
Yeah. So how did you get into content creation? Like, how did this whole journey start for you?
Yeah, that's kind of a great question. So I started about 2 years ago. I was really bored at my corporate job, and I just decided I was like, okay, I'm just gonna start posting some stuff on TikTok. I was kind of one of those people that I'm like, I'm just gonna watch. Didn't want to create content, but I was really like uninspired and kind of lacking a creative outlet. So downloaded this app called TikTok, and it was really fun. And then I had a video like hit viral like right off the bat, and then just kind of experimented with what I liked and what I wanted to do, and then eventually kind of started getting into like that scene culture, like that elder emo nostalgia that I really wasn't seeing a whole lot of on TikTok, and it blew up really fast, and it ended up being really really cool, and I was able to connect with a lot of people, and it's been a really fun, crazy journey, and things really exploded about last year for me. And yeah, it's like it's so crazy that I don't even think I've really fully conceptualized how big it is, or like wrapped my head around how crazy like my life is now. So it was really cool, and I'm just kind of riding that wave day by day,
So are you doing this full time now then?
I am, yeah.
Nice.
Thankfully,
that's great.
I'm very lucky.
Yeah. What was the first video you had that popped off?
So I did the Bus It challenge. I think we all remember that one. That was very viral in like early 2021.
I think I missed that one. What was it?
It was it's basically a clip of like Nelly's Hot in Here, but it's by Erica Banks. And it's like you do like a before and after where you look kind of like mediocre, just like unmade,
okay.
like not like done up,
Yeah.
and then you drop down and you're like, okay, I'm done. So I did it as Tina Belcher from Bob's Burgers as a dare. Like my best friend and I, like my best friend is the one who actually like dared me. She's like, you gotta do it. And so I was like, all right, I'm just gonna make a ass of myself on the internet right off the bat.
Yeah.
Did it, blew
give
up.
people
Like,
what they want right off the bat, right?
yeah, so it blew up like really quickly. I think it had like 2 million views in like a week or something like that.
Nice.
And I had only been on the app for like 2 weeks at that point, so it was really crazy. But yeah, that one was my first big one, and then I started doing like more of like the elder emo, like scene nostalgia. And one of my buddies, I like convinced him to come out with me. I'm like, hey, I have this really cool idea. I just don't know how to like execute it. This was like 5 or 6 months later, and we filmed this, and he's like superimposed me as like two different characters in the screen, and that one blew up, and that's still like one of the most like viral ones I see. I see that reposted everywhere. I see it on like YouTube, and I've seen like people do like compilations of like what the scene in emo culture was like, and I see that video in so many YouTube videos. It's really crazy. So
Yeah, isn't it wild how like people will repurpose your content for like years beyond the point of you like there was even a video you've probably seen it by this point. I posted of this girl that I interviewed at a show, and I asked if MGK saved pop punk, and she's like, MGK made pop punk,
I've
and
seen that so many times. Okay.
she was just like I mean, having a good time at a festival. She was probably boozing up, just said something silly, and yeah, the internet went wild, like just tearing her apart to the point where I took down the video because I felt bad. Like she even asked me to take it down. She was a little butthurt about it, but she didn't say like cause I offered to take it down, and she said no, it's
Yeah.
fine. But then, like a couple weeks later, I was like, "No, this is like I don't like all this negativity my account is bringing to another person." Like, so I just took it down. But just last week, some meme page, like 'cause somehow people saved it, and it's just out there in the internet ether. It keeps getting repurposed. It's wild how
That's
that happens.
crazy. I
Yeah.
forgot
So
that you were the one that did that too, because I've seen that like hundreds of times, and
hmm
like, but that's what's really hard about the internet too, is there's like people will take like a short little clip, there's like no context, and it like blows
yeah,
up, and it can be like put in a negative light, which like what you said too, it was probably something where she's probably drinking, having a great time at a festival, and just
yeah.
I think we've all said some things like
Oh
we
yeah.
like didn't think about, there was like no thought process on, but yeah, that's the scary thing about the internet, is it just lives on forever, unfortunately. But
Yeah, something that hopefully the newer generation is aware of because like we were both the elder emo, so when we were kids coming up, it was brand new and like MySpace was like the big thing, obviously, and like thank God the pictures that we and stuff we post on there isn't really out there as much. It's not like
right.
where it's archived the way like Twitter and Instagram and YouTube is. So I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully kids these days will learn from our mistakes.
I know we sound so old by saying that,
I
we're like
know.
these like young kids, but it's true though too. Like
Whippersnappers.
it's yeah, like it was weird because like that early age of like social media was like a feral wasteland. Like there was no
Yeah.
rules. We were saying the most like crazy shit, but it's interesting now too. Like we kind of were that first generation that learned real quick where it's like,
Yeah.
okay, there's repercussions for what we say. But it's
Right.
interesting, and it's really funny too. I don't know if you've had this moment, but like I know, like growing up, like my parents always came down on me, like you're always on this MySpace thing, and like they gave me such a hard time. But it's
Yeah.
funny because like now, like that generation is kind of like making that same mistake like we made 15 years ago, where they're just
Yeah.
glued to it all the time too,
Oh
and they're
yeah.
posting some like crazy stuff on the internet. And I'm just like, we've been there, we've learned from that. Like,
hmm
let me just help you like not make this mistake again.
I'm sure it's probably like that in every generation though. Like the generation before us was glued to the TV. They were stuck on watching
Yeah,
TV, and then before that, I guess like the radio, like whatever form of entertainment was before then.
that's very true.
I'm
Yeah.
sure it's probably. I mean, it's obviously more addictive and more of a problem. I feel like now with social media than it was with maybe the invention of the radio or the printing press or whatever it was that people were obsessed with back
Right.
then. But yeah, I'm sure that's probably just an adolescent thing too, is to be you have ADD basically when you're a little kid. Like, I think every kid pretty much has a little bit of it. So it's like to keep your attention on one thing is impossible. So you're always looking for the next cool thing to do, and the internet provides
Yeah.
that tenfold.
Oh, seriously. And then and I hate that feeling too. Like when you're thinking about something, I don't know if this happens to you. This happens to me constantly. I won't even say it out loud, and then like 5 minutes later, I'll be like, "Hey, this thing that like we were magically in your brain about.
Yeah.
Let's show you an ad for it." And you're like,
Oh
"Dang
yeah.
it!"
Yeah.
That
Yeah, you're
yeah
just like
that
talking to like somebody in another room, and then all of a sudden, like, yeah, your Instagram serves you an ad for it. It's like, that's odd.
right. I know that's always like that. And then I'm like, "Ah, I need to stop saying this stuff out loud because like I'm like,
I know, right?
ugh,
Well,
yeah,
yeah, it gets to the point where like I'll see something in my feed that's an ad, and I'll think it's cool. And I'm like, oh, I want to click on that, but I'm like, no, I don't want to get targeted later. Yeah.
right, right. You're like, oh, like, and that's what also is really scary too. Is there's so much like garbage ads or like fake
Yeah.
websites out there too, where it's just you have to be like so careful
Oh
nowadays as
yeah.
well.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I saw an article. I don't know how true this is, but that there's like this site called Temu, which is like Amazon, I guess. And
yes.
apparently they're stealing people's like PayPal information or selling or doing something like hacking people's PayPal's. Like somebody, I don't know if Timu's doing it, but somebody's using Timu to get to people's PayPal, which I Timu reached out to me about doing a collaboration. And I was like, I've never even heard of this company. And now all of a sudden I see it in news headlines, but it's not,
It's
for a positive
everywhere.
thing.
Yeah, no, I was funny. I get those emails all the time too, and I finally got to the point where I'm like, please leave me alone. I don't
Yeah, yeah,
want this.
yeah.
Ah, I know those are
I don't
like
want to.
relentless emails.
I don't want to like hawk fucking incense and candles or whatever they're selling on there.
Right, right. And I was like, I feel like it's all very saturated. Like we have Amazon. Amazon, is pretty reliable for the most part, so we don't need another one. We really don't.
Yeah, I'm already
Ah,
heavily addicted to Amazon. I don't need another, you know, direct to door service of sending me like T-shirts and stuff.
yeah. Well, it's interesting too because everything is just so like everything's very automated. Like too, like especially like with like streaming services now too. Like we have Netflix, we have Max. Like I
Hmm.
know I was just like talking about. I'm like I want to go out and see a movie, but I'm like I can just wait and see it at
Yeah,
home with like all the streaming services. So it's like there's just so many
right.
things that are so convenient, which is great. But at the same time, it's like it makes me even more of a recluse, like to like not get out of the house, which I love and I hate at the same time. It's one of those weird relationships, but
Yeah, I think that probably again comes with us being a little bit older, where we're like we grew up with this stuff, so we're kind of like over a lot of it, and then also the new stuff it gets to be too overwhelming sometimes, like too many options. Yeah.
oh my gosh, I feel that too. And I don't know if you get that too. I'm like I feel like I'm at that age too where I'm like it's just exhausting going out anymore too. Like I just don't have the patience for it anymore.
Right.
Ugh.
Yeah, I gotta really like the band to want to go to the show anymore.
Yeah, I know I feel that so much too.
Um, so when you started doing the emo nostalgia and scene stuff, like, did you see that kind of take off right away, or was it like a building process with that?
I saw it was not necessarily a slow burn. I think also at the time when I started doing it, TikTok was a very different platform, and over these last couple of
Mm-hmm.
years, it's evolved so much as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, it kind of took off right off the bat in a way.
Nice.
I just kind of started experimenting, and I think that's like the best way to start, especially if you're unsure with like what you want to do or like where you want to go. And I was also kind of one of those people that like it wasn't, and you probably can attest to this too. Like it wasn't cool to like that music. Like you were kind of considered like weird. Like I was always like, oh, that like weird girl who likes her emo music kind of thing. So it was kind of like a risk. 'Cause I guess I didn't really understand like how many people like felt the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So I started like just doing, just some like fun sketches and stuff like that. Like I always think sketches are like the most fun for me as well. So I started experimenting and then it just started like popping off like crazy. And then it was like 3, 4 months straight of like just like I think I grew like I think I had like 20,000 on TikTok, which is still a lot like in your first couple months. And I think it
Yeah, for
grew to
sure.
like 60 to 75,000 by the end of the year, and it was just nuts. It was just so crazy, and I had a lot of like bands that I admired like growing up like reaching out to me and like commenting on videos, and I'm like losing my mind.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
this
it's a
is
cool
so
feeling.
weird. Yeah, so it was really fun, and then I started taking it a little bit more seriously last year, and my very, very first collaboration I ever did was with the band Silverstein, and
Oh,
that was my
nice.
first one, and so that was really surreal, very, very surreal.
Yeah, those are cool
So,
guys. Yeah, I interviewed them at when we were young, and then I had Shane on my old podcast years ago. But yeah, another obviously legends in the scene and great bands. So awesome they're still out there doing it.
yeah.
So like, does it take you a super long time to get in your scene queen outfit, like the whole the whole aesthetic to like put that all together?
It can be tedious. So in the beginning, I started out using like my own like hair. I didn't have a wig or anything like
Yeah,
that, and the toll it took on my hair,
I would
I was like
imagine.
losing hair by the chunks. It was breaking, so I'm
Yeah,
like, I can't do this
it's
anymore. So I
it's not
ended
that
up
resilient teenage hair anymore, right?
no, and I'm like, yeah, I found that out the hard way.
Yeah,
And so I did actually invest in a wig. So the wig is a lot nicer to
yeah,
have. That way I can just slap it on. But yeah, the eye makeup is takes quite a while, and also there's a lot of accessories, and that's one thing I have to do, like a mental check. I'm like, do I have all the accessories I'm supposed to have? Like there's a lot, and I think
yeah.
like, we just
Oh yeah.
forget. I'm like, wow, we really used to like pack on those bracelets endlessly. I'm like,
Yeah.
like it was the goal was to not have forearms, just straight bracelets.
Right. right, as many chains as you could get. Like, yeah, I remember, yeah, spending just hours like flat ironing my hair, making sure the swoop is right. Yeah, making sure the
Hmm.
belt's cocked to the side, and like, yeah, just it was a lot of tedious work. But again, we didn't have TikTok to distract us, so we had plenty of time to get it all
That is
together.
so true. Did you like have to do like the wet to straight stuff and like every day with your hair? Did you like
Oh
damage the
yeah,
absolute crap out of your hair?
yeah. Oh yeah, it destroyed it. I had black. Well, obviously I'm bald now, so I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but it definitely didn't
Just all
help.
those years of
Yeah.
wear and tear.
Um. Right. Yeah. So I had black hair with a big blonde stripe going through it, and then I had
Oh
like
yeah.
the reverse like chicken butt thing going on, where it's spiked up in the back for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Full in,
The
full into it.
deemed Karen cut now.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So are there ever days where you're like, fuck it, I don't want to put this stuff on? Like you got to make a video, but you're like, I really don't want to go through all this effort.
Oh my gosh, that's like a constant battle. Like I sometimes I'll do that, and that's like where I'm kind of at now. Where I'm like, if you look at like my page right now, like I haven't done a whole lot of sketches. I have a lot of stuff I'm
Yeah.
working on that I haven't posted yet. But I look at my feed. I'm like, okay, I need to like start doing more sketches again because those are like my favorite. But then I look at like the get up, and I'm just like the defeat of just I have to do all of this. But again, I
Yeah.
love it, but it's a whole process. So I feel there's some days where it's a little overwhelming to like put all that on. And it's just so like I feel like I feel so weird. And maybe that's just like a sensory thing that I have now. Like having that much accessories and clothes and stuff. I'm like, I just feel like claustrophobic.
Yeah. I feel like weighed down. Yeah. It's too much.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah, I've noticed that you've started doing a lot more like more normal Jessica style videos where it's like actually just you. My favorite though, you did a couple times was the white trash dad barbecue guy. Like I don't know if that was a one off, but I like that guy. Like he freaked me out a little bit,
Thank
but it was
you.
cool. I like that. That's a good sketch.
Thank you. It freaked my neighbors out quite a bit
Yeah,
too.
I would
So
imagine. Yeah.
that's my neighbors are so over my shit. Like they're really cool. Like I'm really glad. But like they see me walking around, they're like, "Oh, there's that TikTok girl doing her
Yeah.
shenanigans." Yeah, that's actually one of my like favorite videos too. Like I just feel like that's every American dad. Like
Oh
everyone's
yeah,
got like
yeah,
the shorts. So I also did the dad character for a Fourth of July one as well, and I was like walking down the street, we're lighting off fireworks and stuff for
yeah,
that.
yeah. I saw that
And
one.
it's so funny. I haven't told this story. So I was walking back to my house after we had finished, and my neighbor comes out and like sees me with, like a mustache and like a bucket hat, and we had this moment, and he just like looked at me up and down, and we were dressed the exact same. And I was like, and he's like, "Oh, what are you guys doing?" And this neighbor doesn't know like what I do.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm just doing like a video for TikTok and such." And he was like, "Oh, what are you going for?" And I'm like, "Oh, just like typical dad on the 4th of July." And then he like looks me up and down, and then he laughs because he realizes I'm dressed
Yeah.
almost identical to him, and I'm like, "This is really funny and awkward." But
That fucking rules. Oh my god. Yeah, I think about that sometimes because I'll be like down here in my studio recording stuff, and like my neighbors will be outside, and like I just wonder if they can hear me screaming about like Corey Taylor and like cock rings or whatever the weird stuff I'm like recording, you know. Especially when I'm doing like the Octane breakdown for Serious, like I start doing like little bits and stuff, and I'll be saying wild stuff, and I'm sure they're out there like, what is going on in that room down there?
right, and you're like, "Oh, this guy's after his music
Yeah, yeah.
shenanigans again."
So, did you ever think that, like, in a million years when you were a kid, could you imagine that one day you were going to be able to, like, monetize those 2 to 3 years of your high school career? Like, basically, like, turn emo nostalgia into a career? Like, that's had to be, like, not even on the realm of possibility as a kid, right?
I say this constantly, but I'm like, if my teenage self could see myself now, I think she would like keel over and die. Like, because that was like something about me too. Is like I know I've shared this as well. Like, I didn't get to live like that warp tour life. I grew up with like
Mm.
really like sheltered parents, and so like I didn't get to like live my full scene
Oh,
self.
okay.
So I was into like that whole like I'm everything I do is like so on brand for me, but in a way, it's kind of like carving a path for like stuff I like missed out on or like wanted to be a part of. But it's really cool now because it's like I am doing all the things that I really, really wanted to do that I didn't necessarily get the opportunity to do. So it's like a really full circle moment to be like, hey, like I yes, you missed out on that, but look at you now. Like you're doing all the
Right.
cool things. So it's really cool. It makes me like really grateful as well. Because everything I do, it's like it's just motivation for like my past self. And I constantly have to like pinch myself and be like for example, like I saw like I was very obsessed with My Chemical Romance. I had Gerard Way's face plastered over all my wall as a teenager. I was like obsessed with that. And then I had a full circle moment where he like walked right past me and made eye contact with me at Aftershock last year.
All
And
right.
I'm like, it was just like the craziest thing. And
Yeah.
I'm like, if I would have told myself like I would see this person in passing and be this close, I
Yeah.
would never. I don't even have the right words for
Oh
that,
yeah.
but
No, absolutely.
it's just
You
insane.
for sure you do have to like take a step back every now and then and kind of like appreciate it, and also yeah, just realize like, oh my god, like how is this really? Because I do that all the time too, where I'll be
Yeah,
like I just interviewed Jarrett from Bowling for Soup the other day, which like I loved Bowling for Soup growing up, like one of my favorite
oh,
bands, and just like
love those guys.
the idea that one day I was gonna sit down and talk to him, and now I'm going on his podcast too. He wants me to come on his. Like not only like I
That's
get to talk to him, but
crazy.
he wants to talk to me. Like what?
And that's probably
like
like crazy too, because you're just like, this is so weird to like be in a setting where like I am on the same like people like I looked up to like equate me on the
yeah,
same level, and it's probably like a really like
yeah,
cool moment. Like I have mad props to you because I haven't got over that fangirl moment yet where I just like freak out and I just like freeze. But like I
yeah,
applaud
yeah.
you for being able to like persevere through that because that's something I'm still working on with myself. But
Well, alcohol helps usually. Usually, I'm pretty loaded at these fests. That's the problem too. Is I go to these shows and I get like all like liquored up. And I start chatting. I like just like ramble about like nostalgia with these bands and stuff. Then later I'm like, fuck. I hope I didn't say anything dumb.
right, that liquid courage.
Yeah, yeah. So, what's your plan coming up, content wise? Like, what do you have any ideas in the bucket, or like, are you focusing strictly on TikTok, or are you just starting to try to branch off in any other avenues?
I recently have been trying to put a little bit more effort into other platforms. I definitely want to expand. I've been trying to dabble a little bit more in like YouTube stuff. I don't know how I want to do like a YouTube video or such, but I do want to be able to do more on other platforms. It's just really difficult right now with how much I'm juggling.
Yeah,
So, but I don't know. I the future is like wide open, and I'm really open and grateful for like any opportunity that comes my way. I mean, obviously, I mean, I could talk for hours, but like I think like even like a space like this where talking a little bit more and like potentially doing more interviews and such, like maybe bands. I don't know exactly, but I just want
yeah,
to keep exploring all the opportunities that keep coming. So
yeah. I think you'd be great for like talking to bands, like especially like live stuff, like doing stuff like hosting festivals and things like that. I think you'd be awesome for that. You definitely got the
oh, thank you.
magnetic personality that would do well with that. So
Oh,
I
thanks. It's
keep
just
that.
straight
Yeah.
delusion. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's part of success. You got to be equal parts delusional and equal parts, motivated. I feel like there's got to be,
that is
especially achieving any kind of dream. I feel like you have to be a little like delusional, or at least a little like hopeful, because it's too crazy to like sit there and say like I'm gonna do this one day and like have to manifest it out of nowhere. You gotta believe in yourself
hmm
before anyone else can. That's for sure.
That is so true.
Um,
I'm taking that phrase and I'm gonna like write that on my mirror and be like equal parts delusion. That's gonna be my
right.
new motivation.
Be like equal parts, yeah, but the quote, then dash my name, then dash Jessica Conrad, like in the office. Yeah.
Right.
Michael
Oh my
Gregor.
gosh.
All right,
Oh,
well, I hate to rush this one. I know we got do a short interview today, unfortunately. Hopefully we can get together again and do a little bit longer hangout. But I want to do a quick fast round with you of questions if you're down.
oh boy. Yeah, I'm down. I'm
There'll
scared.
be light questions, don't worry. It won't be nothing too crazy. All right.
Okay.
Pineapple on pizza?
Hell no.
Converse or Vans?
I'm a Converse girl. I love my Vans, but I tend to wear my Converse more.
Nice. Okay. Should you wear the shirt of the band you're going to see?
I have mixed feelings on that. I say
Let's dive
no,
in.
but at the same time, okay, I say no. Okay, I'm not against it. I don't judge people, but for me, it's like I don't know. I think also like a lot of the times too, like if you go to a show and you're wearing something and then you get a shirt or you get merch,
Hmm.
a lot of the times you don't have hands to hold it or you don't want to, so you just put it on. So I can't blame people
Yeah.
for that. So I don't know. That's where like my exceptions roll in, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, I would never do it, but I also don't fault anybody for doing it. The only thing I think
Right.
is weird is like when I was at Blink 182 and there was like 20,000 people wearing the Blink 182 shirt from Target that they clearly all just went and bought like that afternoon or whatever, you know.
Oh
That's
my
like
gosh.
I mean at least wear like a real Blink I mean again, I'm not trying to
Yeah.
judge, do whatever, you know, but Target's got some cool clothes. I buy shit from Target. I get it, you know, but
Yeah. I
still
feel
like
the
I don't
same
know.
way about like Urban Outfitters, like coining like Nirvana shirts and stuff, and like Sublime shirts. Like
Mhm.
those are, I have the same feeling about stuff like that. Or yeah, I
Yeah.
know it's yes.
Um Does Nickelback deserve all the hate?
No, they don't. They're a great band. They put out banger after banger after banger, and I think people just shit on them because it's just an easy band to shit on. And I equally
Yeah.
partake, but it's just part of the fun, I feel like.
They are fun to make fun of, for sure.
But they take it like champs, I feel like.
um,
They're like, we,
oh,
we
they do,
know.
for
Like,
sure. The tide's definitely turning on them, too, as well. It seems like people are more open to them now.
and
What
their
was the
sounds
first show you
changed a
went
lot
to?
too. First
Oh,
show,
yeah.
Hillary Duff.
Hillary Duff, okay.
Hillary Duff, and I still have the shirt to this day.
Yeah, nice. How was that?
That was incredible. That was like everything my little like teeny bopper soul needed. That was my first show, and my mom took me, and I have the ticket still. And I was like looking at tickets recently, how cheap they were in like the
Yeah.
early 2000s, and I'm like, this was like $40 to go to. Like,
Oh, my
yeah.
God. Did she do this song that was like, let the rain fall down,
Mm-hmm.
wash it? Yeah.
Yep.
My wife sings
Hillary
that all
Duff,
the
my
time
girl.
still.
It is
Oh
a
man.
classic, and it never
Yeah.
gets old. Never.
Never. Also she's really good in that show. I like How I Met Your Mother. Or How I Met Your Father, I mean.
Yes, How Your
Yeah, the
Father.
reboot. Yeah, it's really good.
She's like one of my teen idols, and I love the fact that
Yeah.
she's just stayed so true to herself. She stayed like unproblematic, and she's such a like good person, and that just makes me
Yeah.
even happier to see that she's doing so well.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved How I Met Your Mother so much that like I was like fully willing to watch How I Met Your Father without even enjoying. If I was like, even if it sucks, I'm still gonna watch it, you know.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's not bad. It's not
yeah.
a bad show.
I haven't
Uh,
finished the newest season, but the first one I did
yeah,
watch,
me
and I did
either.
like it. So,
What is the best live band you've ever seen?
oh gosh, live. That's such a tough one because there's a lot of really good live ones. I've seen a lot. That's a really tough answer.
I know that's it. I come with the hot questions, you know. I
Okay.
put people in the hot seat.
I'm I'm gonna go a very different take that I think people expect me to take this. I will say I love me some rock metal, but I also love me some pop, and I will shamelessly love it till the day I die. I want to say I feel like Ed Sheeran put on one of the best performances because A,
That's
he
totally
was by
fair.
himself and he
Hmm.
did everything on his own and sounded absolutely fantastic. It's been several years, but I feel like that was just one of those concerts that floored me just by
Hmm.
how talented he was. And I know people shit on him all the time for being, him, but I'm like, I just appreciate, like, I think, again, it's like a low hanging fruit where people are like, I'm just gonna shit on him because blah
Yeah.
blah blah. But I'm like, he is truly such a talented person. He was a no band, just him and his guitar,
Yeah.
killed it.
Well, listen, you don't start selling out headlining arena tours if you suck live, right? Like no matter like
Right.
how good the auto tune is, you know. So I
Oh my
agree with
gosh.
you. That
That's such a hard question because I feel like there's so many good bands, and I'm like gonna
I
think
know.
back, I'm gonna get off, and I'll be like, oh, I should have like this one was also good, but yeah,
Yeah, I like to piss people off with my question.
right, right. And then that answer is definitely gonna
Right.
piss off the metalheads, so I'm ready to take the heat.
All right, last one for you. Another zinger. What
Mm.
is the best emo song of all time, the one that defines the genre, like the ultimate go-to emo jam.
I'm just gonna say anything and everything MCR because they're my absolute favorite. I feel like Welcome to the Black Parade is very overplayed, and I feel like that's been coined like the emo song. But I'm gonna disagree, and I'm gonna
Hmm.
say Helena because that's one of my absolute favorite songs. That was my emo
There you
awakening.
go.
That is one of
Yeah.
my like. I literally was so obsessed with that song. I did a dance. I was also I'm a trained professional dancer.
Oh,
I did
nice.
a dance routine by myself to Helena for my eighth grade talent show, dressed
Oh
as
man.
Helena in the tutu, the flowers, and that's how like insane like I was, like delusional
Yeah.
growing up. I'm like, I'm gonna do this, but yeah, I that's the emo awakening for me, and I will forever stand by that.
Yeah, the Helena music video was single-handedly responsible for my obsession with ballerinas and like just thinking like they're the hottest thing in the world for the longest time. Like, yeah, that I saw that at the ripe age of like whatever 15 or what it was. And I saw that girl in the video. I'm like, oh my god, that's amazing.
Well,
And
it's funny too because I think that video kind of changed a lot of like videos where we started to see dance a lot more
yeah.
in videos as well too. So it
Hmm.
was kind of cool for the dance community at the time. But
And also, hot take. I don't really like the Black Parade or Welcome to the Black Parade that much. Like, I really don't think it's that good. And again, maybe. See, I feel like when it comes to the elder emo world, there is still a little bit of a dividing line in ages. Like, I feel like Welcome to the Black Parade came at the tail end of my emo experience, anyway. So, like, I don't know. Like,
hmm
when it came out, I was like, meh. Yeah.
right, well that's something that's a good point that you bring up too because I feel like there's like the babies that were like late 80s babies kind of go for
Hmm.
more that Taking Back Sunday Jimmy Eat world, but then like you see like the 90s like mid 90s kind of go towards more of like the Fallout Boy,
Yeah.
like
Mm.
there's just very different defining
Yeah.
bands based upon like my sister's 4 years younger and like her defining bands are very different than my
Oh, for
defining
sure.
bands,
Oh, for
and it's
sure.
and you're I think you're onto something too where it's just very different based upon like age demographic and like when you hit that point too because the 2010s emo is going to say something completely different,
Yeah.
so
Oh yeah, because even if you're like say 17 when you hear Welcome to the Black Parade for the first time, you're going to resonate with that differently than a 19-year-old that hears it for the first time. I just
right,
that 2-year age gap can make a big difference cuz like your development is so
seriously,
crazy in those years. Like I
oh
read
yeah,
lots of studies that say like you stop like I think you stop being open to new music past the age of like 21 or 25. Like there's some kind of like age where it's like your brain just shuts off. It's like nope, we've heard all the music, we're good. And that's why you get a lot of like
right.
curmudgeon assholes that don't want to listen to new music and say music used to be better back in the day because like you're hardwired to believe that really.
That tracks so much because, like, if I think about that too, 'cause I see that all the time as well from like people my age too, where
Yeah.
they're like, I think that a lot of people don't realize like I'm as old as I am too. They're like, oh my god, this was. I'm like, no, like, but
Yeah.
yeah, that tracks a lot too because I feel like nostalgia too for a lot of people is kind of like once they hit like a certain age and then you kind of start to reflect. Like, I have a lot of friends that are like older than I am, but like
Hmm.
they cling to a lot of like the '90s and like the
Oh
90s
yeah,
music because that's when they were like in their early 20s. So that makes
for
sense
sure.
actually.
I think
That's a
yeah,
great.
I think it tracks.
Yeah, you're
um
onto something.
All right, Jessica, where can we connect with you at? Where's the best place to find you at the moment? All your socials.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, TikTok. I'm actually now on Facebook and YouTube.
There you
But
go.
my handle is at Jessica Conrad, two underscores at the end.
Nice. On all platforms.
All platforms except
Ah,
for I think Facebook. I'm Jessica Conrad 17
yeah.
because I think that username was taken. So
All right. Good continuity. Good stuff. All right, Jessica, I appreciate so much for hanging out with us. And everyone listening, go find her, go follow her, give her lots of likes and subscriptions and follows and whatever the stuff you can do to boost her algorithm. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Take it easy now, and bye bye.
bye.